Alright, again, welcome back. This is video 3 of our one-point perspective name on our folder cover, sketchbook cover. So as you can see here, when we left off, we had added we had already had the space where our name is going to be in 1 point. We'd also talked about putting putting 2 lines that will basically block in where the letters will go. And in this video, we're actually going to block in the letters. You can see I've already done J and E, and so I'll continue with the other ones. However, before I continue with the other ones, I think this will be helpful to some of you, and it's on this handout you're going to get. It's called How to Create Hollow Letters. And this is basically showing you that, hey, you can like map out where your letters are going to be, like size and everything, and then basically draw around them. So that's probably a good idea for most of us to say, okay, if this is my N, I'm going to go ahead and just say, okay, it's going to be right here, it's going to come down, and it's going to be somewhere in this space, but it needs to be this tall.
We just had a bus pull in, so if a student comes in your class, please correct your attendance. Thank you.
And I can do that with all of my squares. I also wanted to point out while we're talking about these is that make sure that when you draw these vertical lines that they actually are vertical, that your straight edge isn't like tilted. So with this one, what I'm going to do to make sure that it's straight up and down is I'm lining it up with the top of my folder, or you can line it up like on the bottom here. It can be lined up on the bottom edge of your table, and that'll just help to ensure that I'm actually getting vertical lines, or pretty close to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the box back in here for the I. And then again, I'm just going to kind of lightly sketch in where my letters are going to be. There's the N, the I, and you can continue all the way over here. So I would do F-E-R and then 5th grade if I have space. Okay, but let's talk about this then as we block them in and make them hollow letters. So if this is the edge of my box, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use it as the edge of the letter, just like I did here. So if I hollow it in, I'm just going to go ahead and you can use your straight edge, you can freehand it, whichever you feel the most comfortable and confident that you're going to make straight lines. So there's my original line for the end. I will erase it. I'm going to now draw a diagonal line. Whoop, got to use the straight edge. I actually need 2 diagonal lines for the N. And then from there, I'm just going to go straight up. I already have this line from the original box, and so I can just go like that. And I've got an N. Now, one thing you really want to work on is having your letters about the same thickness each time you do it. They can get a little bit thinner as they go back and get smaller because things do get smaller. But in general, you want to say, okay, this space right here should be pretty close to this space right here. So what do you think? Is it? Or should I make it maybe a little skinnier on the E? Let's just talk about that after I draw this line. So I didn't make a big change, but if I basically just go a little skinnier, that space is a lot closer now to my N. My J is just a little bit wider, but it's really close, so I'm going to leave it. So then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to move on to my next letters, and we are making letters that have shape, they have thickness to them, they are block letters. Now you'll notice on my video here that you can see, I really hope you can see my letters quite well, but I will also add that because you can see my letters quite well, I'm drawing too dark. Alright? For the video, that's okay. But you've heard me say this a couple times already. Draw as light as possible. That way, if you need to erase, you can certainly do so. There are some letters that you do that could be left as is, like the I right there. Or if I wanted to, I could draw the top part of the I and the bottom part of the I. They're called serifs. So to me that looks a little bit more like an I when I do that. It's a really small, small, small I because it's way back by the vanishing point. Just doing a little bit of erasing, fixing, adjusting, and then I can move on. Okay, at this point I have the first 5 letters of my name, and then I would come over here and I would finish up with the rest of my name, the F, the E, the R. And as I said, if you have space, if I have space, I'm going to go ahead and put a 5 or 5th grade in also. Looks like I do. I can go F, E, R. I'm going to put a little bit more space in between here, and then I'm going to make the number 5. So this is video number 3, blocking in our letters. And after you get done with this, we'll move on to the next step.